Hello. What's up, peeps? What's up, our peeps? Our peeperoos? Y'all out there peeping it real? Oh, what? I like that. Yeah. Peeping it real. Is that what you were gonna say? That's what you made up? I love it. Yeah. It's Sunday. Sunday fun day. So the other day, one of our coworkers came up to me and was like, I had a dream about you last night. And I was like, you know, because you always gotta be like, was it a sex dream, right? But luckily, the only thing he said was that, oh my God. It's so funny. And it makes me feel deadly. Yeah. So he said, yeah, we were in North Battleford. Oh, that's actually, I didn't even mean for this, but it works. But we were in North Battleford and he came up to my skate park that I was running and I skidded on my skateboard. I was like, what's up? To him. Like I stopped and I was like, hey, what's up? On my skateboard. So yeah, have you ever, isn't it weird though when somebody comes up to you and they have a dream about you and you're like, oh God. Yeah, oh God. Yeah. But I've had a lot of dreams about you and not really, I mean, maybe a few were kind of weird, but like. I had a wicked dream about you the other day. Tell me about it. I just got real defensive about you. Oh, good. Yeah, and like kind of went a little bit crazy in my dream, I guess, on somebody for you. Yeah. So, well, this is an awkward silence. So as you know, Amanda has a daughter, and we're running out of lighthearted things to talk about, and she has her daughter right now, so that's why she keeps kind of leaving, because she's outside with her friend playing with my kittens and my dog, so that's why the small interruptions. And I tell them like, okay, just chill, and then they just wanna ask me the silliest questions. Is this one's mom? Like, I don't know who the kitten's mom is, kiddo. Just play with them. Yeah, just play with them. Just love them and cuddle them. Like, yeah. So, anyways. Yeah, so anyways, talking about like dreams and stuff. Yeah, so I like to consider myself like a pretty intuitive. So I will have like a lot of dreams and then something will happen. Or like deja vu and all that fun stuff. I'm into some spooky things as well. Well, I don't know if I'm so much into them as they're into me, but yeah, I've kind of always had weird things happen, ghosts and spirits and stuff, whatever you want to call them, energy. I've always been super sensitive to it. So we're gonna dive into some spooky stuff this episode. Yeah, I'm gonna actually put the clips from our visit to the Sask hospital at the end of this episode. Yeah, too, that was, we went there recently. Yeah, I mean that place has got some bad juju. Yeah. I'm just gonna say that. I went there, like, so we went there, we walked around, went inside, and then we were gonna go back to do like a whole thing in there, but I got really sick and just things happened and didn't make it out, and now it's being demolished. But I went there again after we had went there. I just drove by and it was being demolished, and I was screaming at the building, in the name of Jesus, I cast you out, I free you. I wanted to free the spirits from the place because it feels very evil and I feel like there's just spirits trapped there. I really do. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, mental hospitals and institutions back then were an awful place to go. People just didn't understand or know how to handle them properly. So they did some pretty awful things to them to try and cure them or fix them of their ways, which is really sad. And again, like I think it was just they didn't know. They didn't know how to treat it. They didn't know, they didn't have the technology back then. So I think a lot of awful things happened there. But I think a lot of it was also purposeful.
because you look at Dr. Kevorkian and shit like that, Dr. Satan, like people like that have existed and throughout history. And I feel like probably we had one of those doctors in North Battleford just based on the vibes I get there. Like, it was a very disgusting feeling, like even just being there.
Well, it's one of those things, like when you have mental health issues, or you're disabled in some way, especially mentally, you're very easily taken advantage. You're easily taken advantage of. So it's, and we're not going to dive deep into that because that's just a whole other episode. But yeah, there's people that are supposed to be doing good things, God's people, that do awful, awful things to innocent people, which is really sad. But just back on the juju vibe, that place, man, like talk about that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like feel like your stomach's coming out your throat, like weird. So we went to Battleford to go see Amanda's uncle and to get, Einstein over here. And then we decided to, that was weird, that just froze up the laptop.
Did it? Oh,
yeah.
It's fine.
So then we're like, well, let's go drive by the Sask hospital. And that place has always given me like a weird feeling anytime I even drove by it. As soon as you kind of start going up the road, so there used to be a road that went along the golf course, and like it's kind of just straight out of a horror movie. You go up this hill, trees start, growing up over the road, and just has that classic horror vibe.
And there's all these stories, like there's Cecil's grave from up there. There's the hanging tree story that, these teenagers were murdered, and I don't know if any of it's true, but they say that a guy named Cecil like killed and did some stuff to a bunch of kids, and then when they killed him, they buried his head separate from his body. They buried his head out on this hill, and they buried his body under this tree, and then the hanging tree, you can get abducted and he'll kill you if you park under that tree. And like there's all these stories of crazy shit happening to people out there. Also, I saw Bigfoot out there when I was 14 years old. There were 16 of us in that field, and we all saw like a 17-foot tall thing walking along the trees. The boys went to go chase after it. The girls stayed by the car. It was fucking weird. I don't know if it was an alien or a lizard person or Bigfoot or what, but we saw some shit out there when I was young because I grew up out there. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so we went out there. We ran along the fence trying to get in there because it's all fenced off. We finally get in. We sneak across. Your shoes kept squeaking. I was literally gonna piss my pants laughing about it.
There's literally like a field all around us, and I'm like running and then hiding behind a tree while everybody can see me and like, squeaking the whole time.
Yeah, your shoes, like, are you shitting yourself or is that your feet?
I may have peed my pants a little and
I was laughing so hard, and Amanda's like, quick, go pee before you pee your pants.
Wow, man, so, you never know.
Mid-spy shit, dropping pee.
Yeah, legit, like, that was crazy.
But yeah, no, we kind of went in there a little bit. I was feeling quite more adventurous than Amanda the whole time.
I was very
Nope,
scared.
no, I'm not going in. That's far enough, that's far enough. Nope, let's not go any further. But it definitely had a creepy vibe. Your brother's friends went in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. My brother's friends went there, and so we went in, she went up the fucking stairs, and I had no choice but to follow her because I didn't want to be by myself, so I went up there with her. And so my brother, like a week later, his friends went in there, same area, they kind of said, and when they went up those stairs, they heard a man crying in there, like just weeping, essentially. Yeah. And so they got the fuck out of there. Now, was it a ghost? I don't know, but that's fucking freaky.
Yeah, like, who goes into a creepy building like that to cry themselves?
Yeah, not me. I was crying, but it's because I was scared.
Love that one for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that the cover photo. That was brutal. Yeah, and so then, just to like go back to the dreams part of it, I had some nightmares after we were there.
Well, remember that night? So I had been having some like creepy things already happening out at my house. So after we went there, I was like, I'm really scared. And my boyfriend at the time wasn't really messaging me back. When I say boyfriend at the time, I mean like he's still my boyfriend, but in that moment, and then he finally messaged back and he was like, oh, I'm in bed, like watching a movie. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I'll come stay with you tonight. Cause I don't know, I had some bad feelings like after leaving that place. Like I just felt really heavy and scared. And so I didn't want to say anything to Amanda about that night when I woke up and what I heard, because I didn't want to scare her, but I guess she had something else happen to her that night too. But we were sleeping on the couch and I woke up and I could just hear this knocking noise, like a steady knocking noise. I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then,
I don't. I mean, I remember thinking that Franklin was coming, but Franklin was outside. Like
No, he was in his room. So my dog has his own room in the basement. So when he's like muddy or wet or whatever, then he sleeps downstairs in his room. And you said that you woke up, you thought he came up the stairs.
I heard him come up the stairs. Like I heard his little tap, 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 tap. Like he has a very distinct way of coming up the stairs. Like, you know, I literally heard him, and then so I was like calling him over, but then he wasn't there. Like he was locked down in that room the whole time. But I heard him come up the stairs and walk over to me, and then he wasn't there. It was fucking weird.
Man, like that reminds me of that freaking horror movie. That it's like a campfire movie. Oh shoot, what's it called? Anyways, it's like all these like little like horror stories that they tell. And they're like sitting around a campfire, and the one story was this girl, she had this dog, and every night she'd put her hand down and the dog would lick her hand, and then she'd go to sleep. And then this guy broke into their house and she put her hand down, and it was this guy licking her hand. He had broken her house. It was so scary. It was like a movie. And like that was an older movie, and I just gotta say, man, older movies like the 90s, early 2000s, man, they slap. Like, they're way better than movies now, I find. Like, they have so much more, like, substance to them. And just, like, good stories that they tell.
Yeah, the storytelling is for people who, like, know how to pay attention. Whereas now movies, it's like, if you have ADD, we're just gonna pop all these images in your face. Like,
yeah, or, like, a lot of like grab tactics, you know. But yeah, no. So I've always kind of had experiences from right when I was little. Like I think my first like encounter, I probably would have been like 4 or 5. So my mom's sister passed away when my mom was really young, and I guess some background story is my grandma was super intuitive and would have like weird dreams or like visions and stuff. And she my aunt was in Edmonton, and my mom would have been like young, like I think like 13 or 12 or something like that. And her sister was in Edmonton. My grandma said, please do not drive home, take the bus home. So this was when, you know, Greyhounds were still a big thing. And they fought about it, and she's like, no, I'm just gonna drive. And my grandma said, no, like, just please tell me that you will get on the bus. I just have a bad feeling, please just take the bus home. So she said, yeah, fine, I'll take the bus home. And the cop showed up at my grandma's house, and she kind of went off her rocker and went and answered the door, and it was the police coming to tell her that her daughter had passed away in a car accident. So what happened was a drunk driver actually hit them, and the car went up in flames and she burned to death. So again, like my grandma, like it's kind of in the family.
So she said she was gonna get on the bus, but she didn't.
She didn't. She drove.
And then, your grandma knew.
My grandma knew. Yeah. So
my whole body has goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I know I've heard this story before.
Yeah. No. And there's so many stories I could tell you. And like some similar things have happened to me that my grandma, like stories that my grandma had told me. And when it initially happened, it didn't click that had happened to my grandma too. So my grandma lived in this really old house, and she was with a guy at the time. This was when my grandma was really young. That was no good. And all these weird things would happen in their house all the time. And one of the things with the taps would turn on, it would sound like people were running up and down the stairs, and the parents of the guy were living with my grandma, and they'd always be like, what were you doing up so late last night? Like, why were you making so much noise? She's like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. And so the taps turning on, in my house, I've had an issue with sometimes my taps turning on. So I'll wake up in the morning and the tap will be running.
It's fucked.
Fucked. Yeah. So, but my first like experience that I can remember as a kid, my ghost experience, kind of going back to my aunt. So I woke up, and in the house, my parents' room was right across from mine, and where my bed was and my head was, I could see through my door and I could see into my parents' room. So I woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I seen my mom standing in their bedroom, like kind of at the foot of their bed. And so I got up, and I was like, oh, like, what's my mom doing? So I got up, and I went to go into my mom's room and see her, and yeah, it wasn't my mom. I kind of ended up going right through her. I remember it feeling super cold, and then of course I went and like woke my mom up right away, and she kind of just shushed me and told me to like go back to sleep. So I literally slept beside my mom's bedroom on the floor because I was absolutely terrified. So as I got older and thinking about it, I genuinely think that that was my aunt, because I mean, I thought it was my mom, you know, so similarities.
Did they look alike?
There.
Do you know?
It's like, it's hard to say because like,
when, yeah, like,
there's not really a lot of like pictures and stuff, and right now I can't really remember.
That's so crazy, dude.
Yeah, I guess there was similarities. I'm just like thinking about this one picture that my grandma had on her wall of my Aunt Nikki. But yeah, no, it was really creepy.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience, and I've had, you know, things fall off my shelves. And I know like TVs, electronics, they can just glitch sometimes, but in our one house we had a TV that would turn itself off, it would turn the satellite dish off, it would turn itself to a snowy channel, and then the volume would go sky high and just blare. And I know it probably sounds like I'm just like quoting like poltergeist,
yeah.
But no shit, it really happened. And me and my, I don't know, stepdad at the time, it sounds bad, that's another story for another day. But my, yeah, ex-stepdad, I don't know.
Brutal.
And I intentionally laid on the couches and went to sleep on the couches in the living room to see if we could catch it, and sure as shit, TV turned on, you could see it turn the satellite off, you could see the channel change, and the volume bar just go up. And yeah, I didn't sleep in the living room anymore after that because that really scared the shit out of me.
No doubt.
But yeah, and it happened often, you know, and then we always kind of joked, like we'd be like, well, we should just unplug the TV at night. But then we were honestly too scared to unplug the TV because we were too scared that it would happen again. And
then yeah, when it's unplugged.
And my TV in my own room used to like do weird shit like that too. So like it wasn't just like one specific TV in the house. But again, like that house that we lived in, the story was it was like an old wartime house. So like all the houses on that block pretty much looked the same or very similar. And story was is that the house like almost burnt down at one point, and a little girl died in there. So we often wondered if it was her spirit kind of just chilling.
That's insane. And I literally have 0 ghost stories. Like my dad's house is haunted. Everybody's seen a ghost in that house but me. I have never seen a ghost. And just saying this out loud now, maybe it's because I'm protected in some way. I've always felt protected spiritually in a weird way, and so maybe that's why I've never seen a ghost. But then again, I could feel ghosts when we go to that fucking Sask hospital, so. Yeah, do you got any ghost stories? You gotta let us know.
Yeah.
Come on the show. Tell us your ghost stories. And then yeah, okay? Do it. We will see you. Oh wait, I don't have to stop it quite yet. We have like 10 seconds. That doesn't matter. See you next time.